Hey guys, we are in day 114 in our Bible reading plan, and Joshua 22 through 24 and Psalm 114. Today we are finishing the 10th book of the Bible, if I counted right, and exciting. We only have 56 to go, and we're making our way through Psalms as well. And so this is very awesome. So let's rejoice in that, and that we're still here, and that God is still pouring His grace on us. In fact, the finish of the book of Joshua is very fitting. First of all, Joshua 22, we see this little story where there's confusion over whether the Gibeonites were building a thing, an altar to worship God or not, and so they were going to have war against them. By the way, there will be times in the future where the tribes will go to war against each other, and they want to keep each other accountable. But here they get a good explanation. It stands ground, and so they decide, okay, we're not going to go against them. And then we get into sort of like the highlights, chapter 23 and 24, which are sort of the summary of Joshua's time with them. He's going to be dying by the end of the book, but I thought even starting chapter 23 with a long time afterwards, sometimes it can feel like forever to get to the place that God has for you. But when you get there and you settle in, time just settles in, and I just felt hopeful to see that, to get it. They were for 40 years in the wilderness, and a long time afterwards, the Lord had given him rest all around, and the reminder again and again, chapter 23, that it was the Lord who fought for them. We can think back on Deuteronomy chapter 8. We can start to believe our own press and think that we're the ones who've gotten ourselves the success that we have. Any success we have is because of the Lord and what He's done. He reminds them how one man puts to flight 1,000, since this is the Lord your God who fights for you. And then he warns them, don't turn away from God. And that is really the last sort of admonition of Joshua to the people. He does it again and again. He says, he reminds them at the end of chapter 23 that not one word of all that God has promised has failed. And listen, if you're facing a time right now of wrestling with whether God's word is going to come true in your life, maybe you're looking at your circumstances and they don't line up with what you believe God has promised, that all things will work together for good, that He will provide for all of your needs, that He's a God who's faithful to the end. Listen, you hold on to that promise. The story's not over yet. It's coming. We are living in the now and not yet. You trust Him in it. And so these reminders, but then this admonition, follow God. Don't turn your back on God. And after just urging them, the people respond and say, man, we're not going to leave. We're committed to serving the Lord. He says, fear the Lord and serve Him. And he says, choose this day whom you will serve. And he remembered the famous sentence of Joshua, but as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And the people respond, far be it from us not to obey. And they give this emphatic commitment to God. And Joshua, he's not fooled, and he says, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. And the reason that we know that they kept failing is because there is a better Joshua, there's a better Moses, and it is the person of Christ. Our obedience will never get us where God's grace will. In fact, that's the big idea today. No matter how good and godly your intentions are, our will to serve God will never take us as far as God's grace ever will. We are 100% dependent on His grace. The story of Joshua ends with the moving of the bones of Joshua, referred to in Hebrews 11, how by faith he said, put me in the promised land, and it gets fulfilled here at the end of Joshua 11. Just a lot to take in today, and to recommit our commitment to God and to tell Him we love Him. Won't you do that today? See you again tomorrow.